Hi, I'm Jack with repack.com. Today we're going to disassemble, inspect, repack, and reassemble a Graco 595 and smaller new style fluid section. First we're going to remove the foot valve, unscrew it, and remove the inside parts, which include an inlet seat, an inlet ball, and a ball cage. Next step is to remove the packing nut. Then we can remove the piston from the cylinder. At this point, what I like to do is open up the packing kit, get out the leather packings, and soak them in oil. This should be done for approximately 5 minutes. During that time, we will take the fluid section cylinder and look inside and inspect it. We don't want to see any pressure cuts. We don't want to see any deviations from smooth. If that is the case, the cylinder needs to be replaced. Then we can disassemble a piston. The piston valve unscrews from the piston itself. When you do that, we can remove the old packings. At that point, you want to inspect the piston. There should be no pressure cuts. There should be no wear spots. There should be nothing that is uneven. If that is the case, the piston needs to be replaced. You want to inspect the piston valve. Make sure there's no pressure cuts on the threads. Make sure the seated area where the ball sits is fine. If not, the piston valve needs to be replaced. If all the parts are fine, then we're ready to begin reassembly. Fluid section is the piece I usually do first. You put in the male gland, then you put in a plastic packing, a leather packing, another plastic packing, another leather packing, a third plastic packing, and then the female gland. And then we can install the packing nut. Screw the packing nut down so it just barely touches the packings and stop at that point. On the piston, we'll put a new male gland. We'll put a plastic packing, a leather packing, another plastic packing, a second leather packing, the third plastic packing, a metal male gland, and then we'll put the ball. Next step is the piston valve. You want to put some red Loctite on the threads of the piston valve. This is a very important step. Screw the piston valve down into the piston until the packings just barely, you're able to turn them. Then insert the piston back into the cylinder. Take your foot valve, put the new Teflon O-ring in the foot valve, your inlet seat goes in, inlet ball goes in, ball cage goes in, and the foot valve gets screwed onto the cylinder. This you want to get on there as tight as you possibly can. At this point, take a wrench, tighten your packing nut, channel locks, or whatever you may use. Tighten it down just until the rubber O-ring around the packing nut just begins to compress. Now you can screw your whole system back into your machine. As you screw in the fluid section, you want it to be so that the top of the fluid section itself just starts to stick out of the housing. At that point, you can pin your piston and lock in your packing nut, or your jam nut, if you so choose to call it, and then you're done. All of the parts and pieces that are required to rebuild this machine are available at www.urepairsprayerparts.com.